Good day, Clarence Williams. This is the last video of the trip that Sister Claire and I took in 2023 going to tour Europe. This one is Amersham. It is about 40 or 27 miles from London. This is where Congrado and his family lives, and they was gracious enough to house us when we came out of London, going to Amsterdam, and then when we were going back into London, so that we can get on a plane and go come back to Jacksonville, they was gracious enough to house us for another 2 days. And so this is the second trip. That's why I say the trip back to Amersham, because this is the second trip that we are going now, but we are ready to visit the National Museum, History Museum, and then get on the airplane and go home. So let's get into that, and I'll show you this particular video, and then, Lord's willing, we will be on our way home. Back to Amersham, uh, 2023. Amersham is 27 miles north west of England, or northwest of London. Beautiful little quiet town, and Conrado was gracious enough to take me on a tour through Amersham the first time that I was there, and I certainly appreciate him for that. Now we are in Paris, and we are going back to London, or to Amersham. And the first time we went across the English Channel, we went on a ferry. The bus just drove on the ferry, and then we were able to get off of the ferry, off of the bus, and then just walk around and lounge in the lounging area of the ferry. They had a little concession stand there where you can get something to eat or what have you. And then once you got there, you got back on the bus, and then we went to Amsterdam. And but now this particular going back now, this English Channel or English Tunnel, we were in Paris, and now we're just driving to where the English Tunnel starts, and then we're just going right under the ground, under the water. Excuse me, underwater, 247 feet, I believe, underwater, and it is a train. It's a train. You drive your car, you drive your bus or whatever you're in. You drive it on the train, and then once you drive it on the train, then you cut your car off, but you stay there in it. So we stayed on that bus, and then that train just took off, and it took us all the way back into London. That is so amazing. This is the construction of it. That bottom picture, that is the cutting uh, drill that was used to drill that particular tunnel. They started on each side. They started on the uh, Great Britain side, tunneling, and they started on the Paris side, tunneling. And they just connected those two channels coming together, and it met uh, pretty much easy. They met exactly where they wanted it to meet. So when they first broke through, you see the Paris flag, and you see the Great Britain flag, and that's the first time that they broke through, and they met there, kind of in the center of the English Channel. That was an amazing engineering feat that they were able to accomplish. This is another picture of it. You know, you can see it down now, that tunnel wide. And then now you see down at the bottom the actual layout of the tunnel uh, where they went across the English Channel. The tunnel itself, this thing was built in 19, was finished in 1994. It opened in May the 6th, 1994. The length of it is 31 miles. 31 miles. Now, when we were going, we went on the ferry, and it took us a little bit longer to go on the ferry. They say you can move from one destination to the other destination across this channel, the English Channel, 31 minutes or 30 minutes, depending on the train and how fast it's going or what have you. But that's a great difference in going across that channel on a ferry versus going on this in this tunnel. Construction started in 1988. The diameter of it is 31 miles, and the width of it, how depth it is, how deep it is 148 feet. This is connecting Great Britain, which is an island really, to the mainland of Europe, which is Paris and London, Paris and Italy and uh, Germany and all of those places over there, all those countries over there. So now here we are. Uh, the depth of it is 246 feet. But then now the English Channel itself, that body of water, is deeper than the tunnel. It's deeper than the tunnel. It's 574 feet below sea level. So the tunnel does not go all the way down as far as the channel, the depth of the channel. So it's resting then on something, some type of pilings or some type of structure down there that's holding that thing up. But I'm telling you, it works great. And me not knowing, what I was getting myself into when we were riding back on this thing, I knew it was different from the ferry because on the ferry you could walk around and you can actually see. Cause it was night time on the ferry, so you really couldn't see anything, but we were still able to walk around. On this tunnel, or in this tunnel, you don't even get off of the bus. You just sit there, but you can hear it rocking, moving, going. That is something else. This is Congrado. Congrado and his beautiful wife, Nancy. Thank you all so much. And their two beautiful children. They housed us when we were coming out of Europe, going to Amsterdam, our first trip. And then they housed us when we were going back because he then took us to the airport the very next day. So they did a great job in supporting us and helping us. And then Nancy with all of that good cooking, I miss that cooking. I miss that cooking. That lady can cook. Did a great job. This is Congrado. This is Claire. And I am behind. Congrado is looking back at me. I am behind, and I'm taking pictures of them while they are walking. They are fellowshipping. Uh, Congrado is Claire's nephew. And so they haven't seen each other in a long time, and they are really enjoying the fellowship. And I'm just kind of like the photographer, just taking a picture of those two beautiful people enjoying life. We walked, we got on the train, and then we went to London. We are in London now, and behind me, you will see the National Museum Library, the History Library, which we were going inside. That's the whole purpose of us going there to see that particular museum. This is the streets of London. We're walking. You can see Sister Claire and Congrado walking. We are going there now. We're trying to get there, and that's another picture of it. It looks a whole lot like the structure. Kind of gives you the mindset of Notre Dame. Uh, that's what I thought about when I first saw it. But it is a huge museum. Still see them walking, and now you can see the museum to the right. That's the museum there, and I'm going to show you the entries of it. That's the entry of it up there, and we took some pictures of the entry. That's Congrado and Claire standing up on the top shelf steps, and I'm taking pictures of that. That's a beautiful place. That is a beautiful place. That's Claire and myself standing there, and Congrado is now taking a picture. That's the entry going inside. That's another picture. Doesn't it look like Notre Dame? Yeah, just that those two column-like structures right there at the entry of it. Now we are on the inside. Now all of these things, and there's so much on the inside. I was just kind of selective as far as taking different things on the inside. But there is so much on the inside. This is a national uh, history museum and library. So there's a lot inside of this library to see. I was just taking pictures, and each one of these things that we're taking, they have a little write up on each one of them. But for me, I was just snapping pictures. That's beautiful there. And then you can see that escalator going up into that ball. Just beautiful. And it's different levels of the building that you're going up, one level, two level, what have you. This is beautiful. And I'm just standing now. I'm standing up on kind of like uh, a balcony, looking down and taking uh, the picture of it. But it's real nice. Spacesuit, different things like that. Just a history of a whole lot of stuff in this particular library, in this museum. This is very short. Now, this is Charles Darwin. That's the theory of evolution. Yeah, evolution. And he is a nationalist. He is a geologist, and he is a biologist. And he was known for his theory of evolution. And most people, pretty much everyone, know that. They know Charles Darwin saying, and they use it in a common term that man is descended from ape. That's the way that most people understand it. But let me just read a little bit of what he said. He, along with Alfred Russel Wallace, they introduced his scientific of theory that this branching pattern, now that's kind of like a tree branching out of evolution, resulted from a process he called natural selection. Now I understand that natural selection. He says it's kind of like the same thing as selective breeding. Selective breeding. Now it would be too much for me to try to go into it, but I understand exactly what he's talking about. I may not agree with it, but I understand. I understand natural selection. And I also, well, we all understand selective breeding. You breed the most healthy animals together so that you can produce the offspring of a better healthy animal. The same thing with natural selection. He is saying that nature did that itself. instead of human doing selective breeding, selecting this animal to go with this animal. He is saying nature did it itself. Nature selected the stronger to go together to produce evolution. That's a pretty good theory. But it says even here that it is accepted. It is generally accepted. His theory is generally accepted as fact. Now, when you believe in God and you believe in the Bible and what the Bible says about the creation is totally different than Charles Darwin. But there are some people that believe what he says as opposed to what the Bible says. And there has always been some debates going on about that. I don't even know whether they have debates about it anymore. But I'm pretty sure, this guy was 1809 through 1882, you know. But even in my little lifetime, I have heard about Charles Darwin's and his theory of evolution. And I have, been a preacher, I have listened to people talk about and preach about the difference between evolution and biblical concept. So I understand that. Uh, but I had an opportunity to see his statue, see his monument that was made in his honor, and he was also buried at Westminster Abbey. Now that's an honor. He was buried at Westminster Abbey. That is a great honor for him, for them to bury him there. Now we are just back on the streets now, trying to get back to Amersham, and runs across this little sculpture here. It's a working man carrying a ladder. That's all it is. But it's just sitting right out there on the sidewalk. And I just thought that was neat. So I took a picture of that. And then here we are again. That's the end. That's the end of our tour through Europe. Sister Claire and I left Jacksonville, Florida on August the 15th, 2023, for a 45-day tour through Europe. But during our trip, we visited 6 countries and 16 cities. That's a lot, you know. And then we boarded the plane on September the 22nd, 2023, which is 38 days later, coming back to Jacksonville, Florida. And throughout that whole trip, we did not have any problems. There was no safety issues that we had to deal with. God protected us, took care of us, brought us back safely, took us over there safely. We had great company throughout all of Europe. And even the passengers on the train, because we did ride the train, on the buses going so many different places, everyone was very nice. Everyone was very hospitable, very cordial and courteous with each and every one of us. So we just had a good time. Even the food was great. Had a great time eating the food over there. In fact, I kept looking for tea. When I got to Paris, there was no tea. There was no tea. I ended up drinking Sprite. But I always was able to find my little fish, find my little chicken nuggets, things like that. Then when we was in other areas, there was always a McDonald's. There was always Burger King or something like that that we was able to go into and get the kind of food that we was accustomed to. But then when we made it to the relatives of Sister Claire. I mean, these people can cook. They could cook, and I just had myself a great time. They cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, everything, and even snack, and pretty much everything that every time you ate, you're gonna have yourself a little wine. You're gonna have yourself a little wine with it. So we had a great time. Thanks to each and every one of you. I look forward, if God bless, to coming back to Europe. And I know exactly where I want to go. I want to go to those places where the relatives are so we could really have a great time. Again, thank you so much. Those of you that have been viewing all of the videos and you have been commenting, you have been watching, I thank you. I thank you for your prayers because we made the announcement that we was going before we went, and I know you've been praying for us and that we made it back safe. And so I thank all each and every one of you again. Thank you so much. That is the conclusion of it. We left Amersham. Congrado put us on the plane, and we made it ourselves on back home with no problem at all. Thank you so much. May God bless each and every one of you. That is my prayer. Have a great day.